This is second of a series in reconstructing this Williamsburg knife box, 18th century style with dovetails in the corners and splayed sides. So the last time we created parts of the box by tracing over this hand drawing and creating these small flat faces that are groups and then turning them into the SketchUp three-dimensional parts as shown here with the side and the end component. In this video we'll add the center handle section, or I call it the Mid-Spar. I'll copy over this group that was traced over in the sketch and do a little editing on this group before attaching it to its position in the three-dimensional model. I'll make this a component at this stage, and then this is a symmetrical component, so I can copy this shape, bring it over on the red axis, and flip along the red axis and reattach at the center point. And we don't need the center lines. Eraser those off the face. And also the shape of the bottom edge of this face is not correct. It's a flat face, so I'll just draw a line and then delete this shaping that occurred because of the trace over. And later on we'll make that a complete full width component. But now I want to try to connect this thing in its place within the box structure. And it is located right at the center line. And the best way to position this at the center line is to find the midpoint of the end. And I'll just push along. There it is, the midpoint in the component, on the end component. Now I know I have this piece at the midpoint, and I can come up and put the top bit right at the top of the end piece. We can now create the missing parts of this face, and it's the same height as the end, so I'll just work from that. I don't have to measure anything. But we need some thickness, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick, so I will go 3/16 in that direction and 3/16 back. Now this Mid-Spar fits within a dado in the end, but there I just smoothed out some miscellaneous edges that appear, and I see a couple more here that I'll clean up with the eraser tool and the control key. So the ends of this Mid-Spar ride in a dado in the end pieces. That dado is 1/8 of an inch deep. So that means that the Mid-Spar needs an extra 1/8 of an inch protrusion into the end, and there it is. I've used the push-pull tool and extended it 1/8 of an inch and into that end piece. Well, there's just move the end piece over there so that we can see how that looks. I copy this end piece and move it over to its position there, and have a look up here. We'll edit the end piece and make this dado. I'll just draw a line on the face of the end where the Mid-Spar meets the face, and do that again on this side of the Mid-Spar, and that outlines the shape of the dado. Turn on X-ray, and with a push-pull tool push back the dado 1/8 of an inch deep. There it is. Now I'm noticing that I forgot to do a flip along when I copied the end over, and you can see now that the dado on this end is opposite. So I'll flip this one on the red axis and extend this end of the Mid-Spar, edit the component, push-pull tool, and pull out 1/8 of an inch. We're missing the side on the far side. Might as well copy this side and move it over, flip it on the green axis. But I notice I had changed the axes on that piece, so the angle is not correct. And I can fix that by a rotation, pulling it over into position at a corner, use the rotate tool, get the red, make sure I've got the red color, and pick the edge of the side and rotate it over until it connects with the point in the end. The dovetails overlap here in the corner, so I need to pull that in for the overlapping. The last part that needs to be added is the base of the knife tray. And again, we can go over to the scan view and pick the shape of the base, the rectangle. Here it is from the side view. I'll pull that group over and connect it to the center midpoint of the side. Explode, make the component. I'll call this the base. And this is half the base, so edit the component and then copy all of it over to the right. Flip along. I guess I don't really need to flip. This is just a rectangle. Bring it back and delete the edge in the middle. Now all we need is a push-pull tool. I'll extend that over to the other corner. Needs to grab onto something to stop. There it is. The overhang, I think, is 3/16. Let me check that. There's tape measure. Yes, 3/16. So again, with the push-pull tool, extend out the base 3/16 on this side and 3/16 on that side. Close the component, and everything's done except the corner joints, the hand-cut dovetails that I'll show in our next session.